Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. We are in Chapter 10, Part 2. Reasoning leads to confusion. O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves? Matthew 16, verse 8. Thus far, we have talked about wondering, and we will talk more about doubt in the next chapter. Right now, I would like to elaborate a little more on confusion. A large percentage of God's people are admittedly confused. Why? As we have seen, one reason is wondering. Another is reasoning. The dictionary partially defines the word reason in the noun form as an underlying fact or motive that provides logical sense for a premise or occurrence, and in the verb form as to use the faculty of reason, think logically. A simple way to say it is reasoning occurs when a person tries to figure out the why behind something. Reasoning causes the mind to revolve around and around a situation, issue, or event, attempting to understand all its intricate components and parts. We are reasoning when we dissect a statement or teaching to see if it is logical and disregard it if not. Satan frequently steals the will of God from us due to reasoning. The Lord may direct us to do a certain thing, but if it does not make sense, if it is not logical, we may be tempted to disregard it. What God leads a person to do does not always make logical sense to his mind. His spirit may affirm it and his mind reject it, especially if it would be out of the ordinary or unpleasant, or if it would require personal sacrifice or discomfort. It is always nice if the spirit and mind agree, but if they don't, we should always choose to follow the spirit. Oops. Lost my spot. There we go. Okay. Read Matthew 16, verse 8. All right, I'm going to do just that. So I'm going to pull that up in my NIV. She has written it in the book in KJV, but I'm going to pull it up in my NIV. So give me just a moment to grab that. Oops. Just have to double check the reference. Matthew 16, 8. Okay. All right, Matthew 11, there we go, Matthew 16, we are looking for verse 8. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked, "You of little faith, why are you talking among yourselves about having no bread? Do you still not understand? Don't you remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000 and how many basketfuls you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000, and how many basketfuls you gathered? How is it you don't understand that I was not talking to you about bread? But be on your guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and Sadducees." Now, I'm thinking, surely I've got the wrong verse because that does not sound like it applies to this one. So let's double check. Did I grab the wrong one? No, she says Matthew 16, 8. So hang on a second, because I am a bit puzzled. Oh, yeah. Okay, so she's stopped at the very beginning of that verse, I guess, where he says, aware of their discussion, Jesus asked, "You of little faith, why are you talking among yourselves about having no bread?" And so in the King James Version, that is translated as, oops. O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves? And so she's wanting to focus in on that word reason. And the NIV doesn't use that word. It just says, why are you talking among yourselves? But the word reason, when it's translated that way, has to do with more what she's talking about. So that makes a lot of sense. Why are a large percentage of God's people admittedly confused? And she says that's because they keep wondering why. They keep trying to figure out the reason why behind things. And it's not always our place to figure out the why. So let me look at her answer. She says, because of wondering and reasoning. What is reasoning? Well, reasoning is when we try to figure out the why behind everything. Trying to figure out the why behind something. Why shouldn't we rely on reasoning when God directs us to do something? And so I think this is key here, and she's probably about to dive into this, but she's not saying that reasoning is always wrong. She's saying that when we are choosing to disregard what God has called us to do because we can't reason it out, that is when it becomes wrong. And so let's see, her answer here is, if what he tells us to do does not make sense, we may be tempted to disregard it. So, all right, let me flip over, make sure that we covered everything there, and we did. So I'll see you on the next part.